one of the things that's super interesting, I guess, Brad, that all of you said, the big kind of aha is when I think about this is like, you can't see it, but it matters kind of thing, right? Like that's keeps popping into my head. It's like this technology it truly does matter. But let's hit a couple of these questions before we close out. One of the questions was around the FCC and when do we expect Wi-Fi 6 to be fully ratified?
So let me go ahead and start that off. I was looking at the IEEE website, and the last date that I saw was November 2020 was the plans for full ratification. So what's happened is it has been delayed, but the chipsets that are available now that we're developing our Wi-Fi 6 platform on support that standard and are fully software upgradable. So we're using Cambium is using the right chipset. Not all wireless vendors out there are using chips and radios that can be upgraded. So there's still some stuff out there called Wi-Fi 6 that won't actually support the standard, but that's not the case with Cambium.
So good marketing, but it's not real.
Wi-Fi capable and Wi-Fi certified are two complete, or Wi-Fi 6 capable and Wi-Fi 6 certified are two completely different things. So,
but Drew, also remember, I think it's we need to address this as well. Wi-Fi 6 versus 802.11ax, are they the same? Are they different? So Wi-Fi 6 is an interoperability certification from the Wi-Fi Alliance. It certifies to what they define. Now, they don't take the entire 802.11ax standard. They take the subset of it, the things that they think are going to be important for interoperability, and that's called Wi-Fi 6. Then there's 802.11ax, and that's the IEEE standard.
Hey, while we are on the topic of these standards, I think the other one that are on the horizon is the Wi-Fi 6E. That is your 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi, with FCC having cleared up some band for Wi-Fi unlicensed spectrum. And we are definitely at the forefront of the conversations right now. It's a lot of the chipsets are being built. I think we expect to see Q3, Q4 chipsets available and products coming in the first half next year. Certainly that's something we are very actively looking at too, because that's another game changer. And I think for us, where we like that story is, if you look at our Xeris acquisition and the capabilities there, it was all about multi-radio design and software-defined radios, and that becomes even more relevant in that space because now you need to have 3 radios. You need to have a 2.4 gigahertz coverage, data serving on 5 gigahertz and now 6 gigahertz. So, and then you throw in a sensor AP, so that becomes like a 4 radio AP, and you throw a BLE, that's another radio. Yeah.
So Rad, one of the questions we have here is Wi-Fi 6 going to support both 2.4G and 5G bands? Sounds like that's a yes.
Yes.
Okay. I have another interesting question here, just kind of actually building off of what Nick asked earlier, which is, and this is interesting for me, what are the FCC rules regarding Wi-Fi 6 and existing licensed microwave systems? How will these two systems coexist?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
Cambium's the right, you know what, and I'm assuming it's 6E, or I'm assuming it's 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi that they're asking about, and not just Wi-Fi 6, because Wi-Fi 6 still plays in the 2, 4, and 5 gig unlicensed space. But in Wi-Fi 6E, now there's this new, the new push into 6 gigahertz. And Rad, I don't know if you want to take that. I mean, Cambium really has been playing in that sub 6 gig space for quite a long time.
Yeah, and I think for us, especially when you look at outdoor, right, where that's a lot of that interference can happen. One of the things that that's kind of the hallmark of the larger Cambium portfolio is spectral efficiency, right? Really understanding what channels are going to work in the environment that you're operating in, especially when you go outdoors, and being able to deliver the best megabit per hertz type of a metric, right? How can I deliver the most optimal throughput based on the environment you're operating in? And that means building filters, trying to reduce interference and operating in an interference-laden environment and still delivering optimal experience. So certainly that's something that we can bring a lot of the RFX from that side to the mix.
And then also, I think related to that question, there's a question for how the FCC is going to mandate people's access to parts of that 6 gigahertz spectrum. So the answer to that is very similar to CBRS. So the CBRS bands, Cambium has tremendous experience in that. We're deploying that across the United States, actually across the globe. We actually have deployments in Guam using a CBRS and using Cambium as to coordinate the frequency licensing for CBRS. So CBRS requires a subscriber to license, to register their use within their geography. The same technique, it's been very successful. The FCC is likely to use the same technique to control access to parts of the 6 gigahertz spectrum. And it's going to be something called AFC, which I believe stands for Automated Frequency Coordination or Calibration Coordination. Automated Frequency Coordination, AFC. That's likely to be the mechanism that the FCC uses to allow access to parts of that 6 gigahertz spectrum. And Cambium's already there. We've already deployed that technology for the CBRS access. It's built into our CN Maestro cloud management portal. Remember the cloud we just talked about it? It's built into that same system.
All right, guys, we have room for one more question before we close out, and it's from Julian. The question is, when are you planning to release a Wi-Fi 6 based PMP solution?
Well, that's a roadmap. We're working on it. Is that right? The right answer, Raj?
We can
Is that not the question I should have picked?
No. It's a good question. We are kind of the Wi-Fi guys here on the enterprise side, but certainly we will get a better answer than what I can give you right now on that front. But certainly that's being worked on.